So what do you think so far, James? What's your read inside the courtroom? Your read looking at the jury. Are they asleep? Are they like how's it looking in the courtroom?
Yeah, they were asleep for the first part. Something about the defense, Dick Harpootlian, I don't know. He just talks so slow and so low. You can hardly hear him where I'm sitting, and the jury seems to be, two of them were sleeping at one point. And then I feel like when the prosecution took over, the girl, she was louder and more clear, and then the main prosecutor for the state, he was much louder, and that kind of got the attention. And then I think the guns and everything else also helped get the jury's attention. I will say the most defining part of the morning is the judge and his just done with the defense and how long they're taking and how they don't have their shit together. I mean, he's upset several times. He said stuff. One time he just had us all stand up because he was so annoyed at them. Yeah, he reprimanded. He had the jury leave and reprimanded them at one point for it.
Really?
For not having prepared. Yeah, he was really upset. He took them out.
Oh yeah.
He had us stand up. He had the jury leave. He took the defense and the prosecutor back. And I'm guessing that's because he said something before he was going to do it. I'm guessing he reprimanded them. I did find that the jury negatively responded to Harpootlian. There was one juror in particular. She is a Black woman, and she does not seem to like Harpootlian.
Google them.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll just say from her body language, because I know people will be like, oh, well, you're just making things up. From what I see, and things like this, crossed arms, tilted head, swinging back in the seat, tilted away from him, things like that, side, moving your head to the side where you're giving someone like a side look. Those are all things I noticed specifically with this one juror. So, yeah, maybe she Googled him. Maybe she didn't like how he said in the beginning, you may not like the things I say, I'm going to, I don't know. I know I spoke about that with you all before. So, maybe she's the type of person that doesn't like that. Maybe she doesn't like how low he talks. Now you can hardly hear him, or how he stumbles, or how he doesn't have any of his paperwork together. I don't know, but it seems like she did not like him.
No, and once again, this is the difference. Like, this is the difference, guys, between lay opinion and non-lay opinion, is that we can get, we can get people who have the lay opinion and who are not seeing it from the eyes of lawyers, right? Who are people who are in the courtroom and having a completely different perception than we have watching it on TV. Like Michelle here, she had a super chat, and thanks, Michelle, so much. Kavarnos, which was going along with what we were talking about earlier, which is Dick Harpoon is playing the game exactly the way he wants it to go, acting senile, shuffling around, mumbling. It's all a tactic. And to us watching, it seems like it's working, but James is telling us from the courtroom perspective, it seems like they may not be liking it. They may not be down with the Poon shenanigans.
No, and I'll just add this real quick. I feel like a part of the reason, and I understand that tactic to make it seem like, oh, well, he's not a shark. He's not a cutthroat lawyer. He's, fumbling.
It's very Southern. It's very Southern, right? They play down their abilities and strengths, and they strike. That's a very Southern move.
He's going overboard. He's going to the point where he almost seems incompetent, because the jury notices how frustrated the judge is getting with him. The jury is getting frustrated with him because he's wasting all of our time. I mean, when you have to sit in 30, 45 seconds of silence waiting for the attorney to find their paperwork, it goes beyond the, oh, they're so sweet, they're just a lawyer. And then you remember, this guy's a state senator. He's not just some lawyer that, happens to be friends with Murdaugh and, oh, I'm defending my buddy. Like, this guy's a state freaking senator, a top lawyer, from Columbia, and he doesn't even have, like, the folders, right, for his papers. It's just, to me, and that's what I see in the jury. And as a layperson, if I was a jury member, that's how I would feel. I don't even want to go back after, because I feel like he's wasting my time so much.
Why? Really?
I'm just joking, sort of.
I mean, but sort of not though. But sort of not though. I mean, that's
sort of not.
Yeah. What about this? Is something that's just because of the time zone that Legal Mindset and I are in. What are they? Not even just the jurors only, but the people in the gallery. Are y'all just like hungry as shit by the time he calls for lunch?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
I could see
it's like 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's far past lunch.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's not a good position. If you're the defense or the prosecution, you want your jurors to be comfortable, well-fed, listening, attentive. And it sounds like from what you're saying, he is coming off really inauthentic. And that is something you do not want to do, in whether it be on YouTube or whether it be in person. If you're a politician, inauthenticity reeks and people can smell it. And as soon as they get the whiff of it, you have lost all and any credibility you have with people.
Yep. Yeah, but how do you take it for the prosecution side when they're presenting? So I get that they don't like Dick Poon, but are they really engaged by the prosecution when they're up there? Because I mean, they've had the thing with the prosecution is they have so many attorneys, right?
Yeah.
They've got this like batter's box of attorneys. Are there some of those attorneys that they're more engaged on and some that they're less? What's the feel for those prosecution attorneys?
Okay, so today we've only seen, I don't know her name, but she's a younger female, and then the main defense attorney.
Yeah, that's Beetlejuice Winona Ryder. That's what we've been calling.
Okay. Oh yeah, because of her outfit, 100%. Yeah, I was wondering, button down, but
she's Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice.
yes, exactly. So they were more engaged, but I think it's also just from the fact that the two the two state prosecutors talk louder. I mean, you can actually kind of hear what they're saying, and they pronunciate and pronounce things like very, like, you can hear it. So that's a part of it. Also, I feel like the nature, the guns, that kind of, they were more engaged. They could see the guns, they were looking at it. That's visuals are always good for the jury. I did notice, I wrote down that they were more engaged. That could have just been a product of the fact that Harpootlian was just so boring that, anything a little bit more volume got anyone's attention. But there was two jurors that would lean in a little bit more. There's a younger girl who sits all the way at the end. She was like very tired in the beginning, and she was actually like, her eyes were kind of opened and she was listening and stuff. I will say it's interesting. None of them have notepads. There's no
really
desk. Yes, no desk, no pencils or pens, no notepads. None of them are writing anything down. So
wow,
yeah,
that's interesting. That is an interesting fact.
I think that the jury was expecting the same showdown that we were, and wanting to remember things by, just by observing it, like a movie, right? So when you watch a movie, you're not sitting there with a notepad. You just remember certain key parts of the movie. Yeah. They came ready to be entertained.
Well, then in that case, and James, tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that's failing for the most part. It seems like they're probably not entertained as on a whole, right? There's parts where they'll perk up, but it seems on a whole, they're probably pretty bored, right? As a whole. Yeah. How many of the jury look like if you had to stereotype the jury, is it a generalistic way?
Yeah.
What percentage of them would you say are gun owners? If you had to stereotype the jury.
This is Walterboro, South Carolina. It's probably like 95% off the bat. Okay. The grandma on the jury is probably, got a gun in her car. So,
sure. What percent have a lot of guns, would you say?
Thank you, Danny.
Fair. Good. A good probably half, I would say.
Wow.
So they're probably just checking out the guns. They're not actually thinking like, oh, this guy has a lot of guns. They're just like, hey, show me. I want.
And I wish I could afford those.
Because there's two different looks, right? There's two looks. There's I'm interested in that gun. That looks like a fucking cool gun. Versus, oh my god, gun's so scary. Oh my god, it's a scary gun.
Right. They're like, oh, I like that scope. Where do you get that? What brand did you say that was?
Is that on sale after this trial? Can I buy that from you?
Are you auctioning it to pay for legal fees?
Yeah. Is that Palmetto State Armory?
Palmetto State.
No, I'm sure there were probably multiple jury members that were just as knowledgeable on those guns as the guy sitting there talking about it. They probably knew right off the bat as they took it out what kind of gun it was, what kind of bullets went in it, everything. I'm sure at least 4 dudes on there. Okay. Well, and women too.